All right, guys, so we are back in CAD Swiss, believe it or not. If you guys saw the other video that I just recently put out, I'll pop up a screenshot of the thumbnail right here. I actually traded CAD Swiss just recently. You can see had a couple good entries on this currency pair, and it seems to be the gift that keeps giving. We'll see if we can catch another winner on this trade, but this is going to be a live trading video. So, whether or not this is a winner, you guys will see. It does have the potential to roll over and continue down to my stop loss, which is right here. But in this video, stay tuned. We're going to talk about the entry, the exit, what all this stuff down here means, and how I caught this trade. Again, if you want to see the trades where you can see them here on my broker where I was long and then I closed out right around here, definitely check out that video. Maybe I'll leave it in the description or pop it up in the top right corner. But CAD Swiss here really looking pretty good so far going into this week. It is a new week. It is Sunday night my time when I am making this. But CAD Swiss has been a phenomenal mover for me recently. I've had a long bias on this currency pair, especially after this big news that we had back here. The Bank of Canada basically came out and said that they had started the process of tapering, which is basically the idea of slowing the printing press. If you guys know, money is printed by a central bank to try and stimulate an economy, especially with everything going on with the pandemic.
What a money reside, what a money reside, what a money reside.
Well, the Bank of Canada, just like all the other ones, was printing money, but they've actually recently come out and said, hey, things are starting to look good enough that we're going to slow the printing. We are going to start the process of trying to, because you can't, printing too much money is considered bad for the currency, right? Causes inflation. And so slowing that down is considered pretty good for the currency. So I've had a very long bias on this currency from a fundamental perspective, and then employing my technical analysis. And so my technical analysis basically tells me, look for a strong sign of buying and look for pullback opportunities. That's what I did here. That's what I did here. And just recently with this trade that we are looking at today, I just bought it here. Okay. So let's look at it. So I ended up taking a long position last Friday. I don't usually take positions on Friday, but I am a swing trader, so I don't mind holding things over the weekend. And so I ended up getting in right around here with about 2.5 lots, which yes, it is a big position, but CAD Swiss is a fairly low volatility based currency pair. It does not move a whole lot. You can see down here, this indicator is the average true range, and this tells me on average how much the bars are moving in the last 14 bars. Okay, so that tells me the volatility of this thing. And you can actually see that on average, oh, my other broker's doing all weird sounds. Sorry about that. If we actually look at this, so if we go right here, you can see that it peaked out here at about 15 pips every 1 hour. That's not tremendous amounts of movement. So every hour it's moving around 15 pips. At this time, you can see since it started to slow down, now it's moving more like 11 pips an hour. But again, it just gives me an idea. And I've actually made a video about that recently about how I use it for my stop loss. But I basically at the time said, okay, it's moving around 15 pips. I want to put a stop loss that was 20 pips. So at this rate, I am risking $500 on the trade, which yes, $500 is a good bit of money, but this is a larger account and this is real money. This is not, fake stuff or demo stuff.
You think this is a game?
This is real money. I'm using TradingView on a live account. And so I'm risking a small portion of my account to see if this CAD Swiss move can continue to the upside. I'm in a good spot right now. So far this week, we started out real good. Things ended up, ending up flat last week. By the end of the Friday, we really hadn't moved anywhere, but the start here of this week has been good for the CAD Swiss, and I wanted to go ahead and start sharing the reasoning behind the trade. So same reason. The crazy thing here, it logged me out of my broker. That's weird. Yeah, there goes my orders. That's so strange. I don't know what just happened there. But anyways, you would have been able to see it just a second ago, but I bought here and I bought here and I bought here, right? The main reason is the same entry for almost all three of these. Each time prices come down into this region, it has had some sort of impact. We poked up in this, found resistance, poked up in this, resistance, right? Up in here, resistance, finally broke it, found support a few times, and since then have found this area to be a strong level of demand by buyers. So I figure, okay, I like the long side anyways. Should price come down into this region, that gives me the pullback, the discount on the move that makes me want to be a buyer. So that is exactly what I've done, keeping it very simple. I don't know why my broker logged out, but I'll log back in off camera and then we can go from there in the next clip. What I will do now is I will pause the video, but whether this is a winner or a loser, I will continue to film and show you guys what happens, how the trade plays out. And again, there's my entry reason. From here, it is just a matter of managing the trade. At some point, I will move stops to break even and so on and so forth and try and capture some moves. Why do I not have a take profit? That's often a question I get. I like to trail stops personally, so let trades run as much as they can. And again, if you've watched a lot of my trade videos or live trading videos, you can see that over time, pretty much pick up on my style of trading. So with that said, going to pause the video and we will come back once this thing has moved for the better or for worse. You guys will see it all live on the camera here. So I'll pause it now. We'll come back in a bit. All right, you guys, for a little bit of an update here on CAD Swiss, I have currently moved up my stop loss up to a little bit better than break even. As you guys know, I got into the trade right here, had my stop loss underneath structure. And now once price has moved nicely in my favor, I'm going to go ahead and lock in some of that profit. So I actually sent out an alert to members that I had trailed my stop up to a bit better than break even here on the trade and currently floating around $1,028, $1,028, $1,050. It's going back and forth on this trade. So you can see as the New York session getting going here, things are going well. Things are looking bullish still for the CAD Swiss. And this has just been a cool experience because it's been the same trade really almost 3 times. A general area of demand here, here, and here, all of which have been nice little buy zones for the CAD Swiss. So as we pulled back, like I said, I jumped into the trade. Things are forming nice higher lows. And for the time being, I'm looking fairly confident that price could make its way up to this previous high. Now from here, my goal is to continue to trail my stop, let profits sort of run if they want to. So if it wants to keep going higher, then by all means, I will let this trade keep going and trail my stop accordingly. So again, up about $1,050 roughly here on the trade on CAD Swiss, looking at the 1 hour chart. So I've been in the trade for what, a few days now. And so just going to see if this thing wants to keep going. If it does, then great. If it doesn't, we stop out. Either ways, you guys will see what happens, and I'll pause the video and come back once I have more of an update for you. All right, guys, so CAD Swiss moving higher here a little bit. And I just moved my stop loss a bit more into profit here. I wanted to give you guys just a bit of an update. So we actually saw a bit of a weird pullback here on price. So price shot up. Like we saw, price continued to rally. I had moved my stop loss to break even at this point, but then just recently we saw some nice rejection by buyers. So price came shooting down to this point here and immediately found a ton of buy pressure. And at this point, I have now moved my stop loss just up here to this point here. Now, the reason is I actually have marked this zone here of support. So I kind of identified, price shot through this level and rallied from there. If price breaks back underneath there, I probably want to jump out of the trade as soon as possible. So if price does start to reverse, then I'm going to take profit there. At this point, that would be a nice little winner there of probably $600 or somewhere around there. At this point, currently up about just under $1,300 on the trade, moving nicely here. I do expect price to still try and tag this level here at the previous high. We'll see what happens. You can see it's just barely coming up to the point of resistance there. We will see if price can really tag some of this deeper levels of supply here. But the idea here at this point is I've locked in some of the profit. I just updated this to members who I sent this trade out to. By the way, all of my trades are shared for members inside of our private group. You can check out information about that down below in the description, and there's a promo code for you guys who made it towards this far into the video that want to get a discount on the group. So check it out if you have any interest. With that said, you guys, I'm going to leave it here. If price reverses, I'll take a profit, and if it keeps going, then you guys know it's business as usual. We'll continue to move stops higher and let this trade run. So I'm going to pause it. We'll come back soon enough. All right, guys, so we just had a big old spike due to CPI numbers as we were looking at it here. Just a few minutes ago, we saw price spike to the upside, probably looking like some good numbers for the CPI in the United States, which does have some correlation or impact on the Canadian dollar. We've seen this spike and this run up here start in the New York session. And with all this volatility, I have gone ahead and moved my stop loss from where it was previously here up to just about here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade. So worst case scenario at this point is I walk away with $1,000 in profit. Should this new spike kind of return back to these levels, then I'll just go ahead and get out of the trade, which it does look like it's trying to. So we'll see if sellers can get strong enough or if buyers are going to find a rally here. But either ways, I have locked in this trade pretty nicely. I'm very happy with where the trade is and how it's going so far. Currently up about $1,800. Just a second ago, it was over $2,000. So again, we're going to see where it ends up. It's moving a lot right now. So if it spikes back the other way, then I will by all means just jump out of there for a profit. We can actually drop it down to just because we just had news, it's moving so much. You can see there was the news, had that spike right on up on the initial release and now shooting right back down. Let's pop up on the screen what the actual CPI numbers were for the United States. We can find those on Forex Factory. For those of you guys who are newer to Forex, you can always look that stuff up. But it does look like we are back and forth here on the news release itself. So just going to be watching this one, monitoring the trade from here. Basically, there's only two scenarios for me at this point. If I get trailed out of a stop, then I am by all means very happy to take that profit. At that point, it would, result in probably a good, I don't know, $1,000, $1,200 profit. I'm not exactly sure what the profit was. I've got it pulled up on the other screen. Let me just say what it is. Okay, so if it hits the stop loss, it's going to be $1,480 roughly. So $1,480 in stop loss locked in. So a pretty good spot to be in. I'm pretty happy with how this trade is going. And again, if it keeps running, then I will continue to move stops. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and update the community with this trade and just let them know what I'm doing with this. And then I will pause the video, come back when things move again. Okay guys, so it's actually just a few minutes since I just made the last update, but things are moving so quickly with this CPI news, and I just went ahead and locked in more profit because of how volatile this thing is looking. As people process the news, usually you get some volatility after the fact, and so I have gone ahead and just locked in a bit more profit on this trade. It's sort of doing a thing where it's on a runaway train, is what I like to call it basically, when you get these moves that are just prolonged extensions higher. In this case, what I like to do personally is when you get a big move like this is to trail that stop a little bit more aggressively. And if it wants to keep doing something like this, for example, if it wants to do a move like that, then by all means, the stop, even if I trail aggressively, will likely stay on the trade. So I have got a good position here, but I also wanted to note that, okay, well, here on the 4-hour chart, we are tagging into some resistance. So I do want to put my stop somewhere where, hey, if we find a bunch of sellers up in this area, get me out of the trade fairly quickly. On the other side, if we keep running higher, then get me into that trade or keep me into that trade as best as possible. So I'm not too close to price, but if it does start to give back some of that profit big time, then I'll just go ahead and lock out the trade. I think at this point it is right around just under $2,000 locked in on the trade. Going well so far. I do want to say before I continue this video, make sure to like it down below if you like these live trading videos. They are a lot of work for me just to film and update all the time, but if you guys enjoy them and you get some sort of value out of them, the best way to let me know is just to smash that like button down below. Okay, so I'm going to pause it and continue to watch this thing whip back and forth here on the news. Again, I'll just real quick show you guys the 5-minute chart. Look at this 5-minute chart. All this volatility just back and forth, back and forth. So just some insane moves here after the news. So with that said, I'll pause it and come back soon. There we are out of the trade on CAD CHF. I'm taking a look at the 1-hour chart and you can see I just got triggered out of my trade there. We'll pop up the ending result. It was about $1,959 on this trade, which sounds great, but you got to remember there are some losers in trading. It's not always winners. And this one was another really great trade. I started filming this one without the idea of whether or not it was going to be a winner or loser. I don't go into this with hindsight. Literally when I plan to film a trade, whether it's a winner or loser, I share it to you guys on YouTube as is. So fortunately, this one was another winner and ended up getting trailed out of my stop loss, and happy to do so. You can see price coming back from this zone here at 0.75. was something that I wanted to quickly jump out of if we saw rejection, because you can see what kind of happened here. Let's do the 4-hour chart. You can see price came right up into this zone of resistance and immediately found some sell pressure. So I don't have a ton of interest here in holding into this resistance. If price doesn't want to just shoot right through it, then I'll just take my profits here and maybe look for another opportunity to get long on this pair or another one. But either ways, out of CAD Swiss franc for a nice profit of $1,950 something. I will take it. Very, very glad to have a trade run like this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel first. I know like half of the viewers here are not subscribed. So if you're interested in this content, you want to see more of it, the best way to let YouTube know that you want to see more is to subscribe to the channel and turn post notifications on, and also to like the video down below. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to see my trades with me in real time, I share the full details, updates, and all with members inside of the private Discord that we offer. You can check out the link down below in the description if you'd like to join us there. So with that said, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching and supporting the content, and we'll see you back in the next one.